I found out so many that's okay. I found out so many things yesterday about Mary that I wish I'd known before. You know, we didn't get to know Mary very long, and evidently she was someone that just broke out in song no matter what was going on. I mean, she just so happy and full of joy and full of God's love, and all of that was amazing to me, you know, because all we saw her was she came in her wheelchair and sat over there, and you know, she was nice and friendly, and we had no idea the background that she had. And I was just amazed when I heard all the things that she has been involved in all these years. I would have loved to have had her sing for the congregation or lead us or just anything if I'd have known it. But anyway, she truly was a great lady of God. And I hate that we only got to know her just very briefly because I realized we missed a tremendous blessing. But we at least did get to know her, and we did at least get to enjoy her smile and her upbeat personality and nature the few times that she was here. So we thank you guys for bringing her. I think at first she had a hard time being willing to come because it was the bar. And she overcame that and thought it was great. But, you know, Lewis is talking about the rodeo and all. Not a lot of difference between being involved in a rodeo, right where the action is, and being involved in a biker church, right where the action is, or where it used to be so much. This was truly a biker bar when we started the ministry here and when we started the church 10 years ago. It's transitioned a lot since then, and our church has transitioned, and we're in a transition that we're sort of a little bit of everything now. We're bikers, and we're cowboys, and we're hot rodders, and we're just straight Christians, and yeah, all of that. What I meant by that was, you know, you don't ride a motorcycle or horse or drive a hot rod. But anyway, we're so thankful. Yeah, that's what a straight Christian is. We're so thankful. I'm just going to move on now. We're so thankful for all of you and the very things that you add to our church. And I need to add pilots. Also, we have airplane pilots here too. So that's pretty cool. But I want to take just a moment. Those of you that have been here the last couple of weeks, you know that we've taken a break from our study through the book of Romans. And I felt it was really important for us to look at some things that's happening in the church today. And we did that for the last 2 Sundays. And I just want to say this for those of you that were not here. 2 things. One, we can look at what's happening and it's a shock. It's just totally amazing how that the evangelical church in this nation is falling away from the truth of the Word of God and from God. And this is just part, the other part of that is, this is just part of the apostasy that's spoken of in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And we've gone into great detail concerning this. It's not hearsay. We weren't trying to slam anyone, but was trying to just simply speak the truth so that people could know how to pray and could not be drawn into something false. So I've called names, I've named churches, I've named organizations. I put it all out there the last 2 weeks just like it really is. And with the hope that it will benefit someone. So we've talked about the emergent church and the dangers of the emergent church. And then last week I shared about the fact that there is a movement. In fact, the conference that was held in Kansas City 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks now ago, presented basically to the the Christian church, the evangelical church in the United States, that at least that group that seemed to be trying to represent us, I guess you'd say, has gone back under Catholicism, Roman Catholicism. They have just said Protestantism is over, the protest is over, and we're going back to the Catholic Church. And we'll see in time how big a movement that's going to be. But the emergent church movement has grown to such a thing that it was just a name that people were trying to figure out what it was a few years ago, and now it's full-blown into thousands of ministers and thousands of churches in the United States. Now, I shared last week and the week before a lot of information. If you didn't get to see that, you can go back and see it on YouTube. But there's two things I want to share briefly and then bring Nicole up. Two things I didn't get to share last week that I thought of later. Again, and this is not to slam anyone, it's just to say this is serious and we need to know what's happening so that we don't get drawn into something, or if we know someone else that's getting drawn into something, we can talk with them about what we know to be absolutely, without question, true. One of those things was this. I mentioned a man named Brian McLaren, and I think I said that well, I'll say it now, he's probably one of the either the second or third most radical in the emergent church movement that I've been able to understand and know about. And his position basically is that Christianity in the church today has got to be destroyed and rebuilt so it will accommodate the people that it wants to reach of the new generation. And we talked a lot about what that was. It was to throw the Bible, the gospel, doctrine, everything out. And everybody just had their own little thing, you know, whatever I believe is okay. There's nothing black and white. It's all relative. And so that's going to be the church of the future in what they're seeking to bring about. It's going to be a church in which everybody says all religions serve the same God. We brought out all of that. And so these are dangerous things, but they're happening right in our midst. And it shows us just how close it is for Jesus' return. Now, one thing I didn't say about Brian McLaren that will be a shock to some of you is simply this. Brian McLaren, in all of his heresy, the door has been flung open, and he has come and spoken at NMU. And that's pretty shocking. I think he's spoken at Point Loma, I believe, was another place he's spoken. But he's spreading this heresy all around. And schools like NMU are having him come and speak. That's pretty shocking. But that's what's happening. And it's happening right before our eyes. And it's happening with people that we're just astounded about. Now, this other thing about coming under the Catholic Church, as I said, this is fresh, 2-3 weeks old in the main part, and we'll just have to see how it plays out over the next months in and through the church in the United States. The last thing I want to share that I forgot to share last week was this. The emergent church movement, they pray. Say, well, that's good. Christians are supposed to pray, right? Well, they pray a little bit different. They have what is called contemplative prayer. And contemplative prayer is nothing like your prayers and my prayers. In contemplative prayer, the people are encouraged to pick a name. It could be God, it could be Jesus, it could be Joe, it could be anybody or anything you wanted to pick. And much like yoga, you get your breath right and you get in the position and everything right, and you start repeating this name that you have chosen over and over and over and over again as fast as you can repeat it, and you may do it for 20-30 minutes. But there will be a point in time in which it'll just, everything will go silent and your mind will go blank, and then you will have a visitation a spiritual visitation. Okay? And they're saying that this is Christian. They're saying that this is where they get their belief system. Instead of believing in the Bible as the Word of God, the doctrines and teachings of the Bible as truth, and Christians and churches operating according to that, then the Bible is out for them. And it's all on the level of a personal experience. You have your experience, someone else has their experience, and one experience is just as good as the other, and it doesn't matter because we're all, whoever we are, whatever our religion, are on the same road headed to heaven, no matter what name we give God. Now that's the prayer movement of the emergent church. And it is nothing in the world other than Eastern mysticism, New Age mysticism. It's nothing in the world than that. And these people are not being visited by someone good, you better believe, even if they use the name Jesus as the one that they call upon. It's a false Jesus that's going to show up through what they're doing. And so there needs to be warning to the church. The church needs to know what we've been able to share the last 2 weeks and this little bit this morning. But I just wanted to complete that because those were two important things that I did leave out. Now, let's get to what we're doing this morning. Most all of you